Welcome to Venus Codes, which is normally a German-speaking podcast, but sometimes I have some special guests and I do English interviews. And today I have Rebecca Campbell. Rebecca, you are a writer, a poet, a mystic, an artist, and a mother. And I've prepared something. You are the best-selling author of Light is the New Black. Rise, sister, rise. Letters to a Starseed.
Yes.
Of the Work Your Light Oracle deck.
Mm-hmm.
The Starseed Oracle. And the Rose Oracle that I don't have yet. Welcome to Venus Codes, Rebecca. I'm so happy to have you.
Oh, so great to be here with you as always.
Yeah, and I told you before we started recording that it's the first time I'm more nervous than my guest, because you've been one of my most influential teachers on my journey. Like when I found your work, I wasn't even doing any spiritual work.
Wow.
Like it was my first photo shoot where the makeup artist told me about you, and I had another blog and everything. And yeah, you played quite an essential role in my becoming of this teacher that I am now too, and building this business. So yeah, thank you for being here.
And well, I'm honored to be part of it.
Yeah, and I wanna dive straight in, because we had to reschedule our call. It was planned actually 2 weeks ago, but your plans changed, and that was really good for me, because I realized when this rescheduling information came, I had put so much pressure on me for this call, and I had to do some work on it, because I wanted to be seen so much and had projected so much. And that's why I think it's perfect that we rescheduled. And I had to do my inner work. And I think you talked, I think it was in Light is the New Black, about putting people on a pedestal, and then people put you on a pedestal. And I wanted to ask you, when you wrote that, was that more from the experience of putting other people on a pedestal, or having been put, or both?
I think the bulk of it was from having put other people on it, and having people who I put on it tell me that they did it too. Yeah. And then as I was writing Light is the New Black, I was experiencing the other side of it as well, you know. But I'd say at that stage, I probably had experienced, being the one putting the person, or whether it's it can happen in any type of relationship, right? And the people that we admire as well. But I feel like part of the juice in there is that when we notice that we are doing that, it's often this like a sign of where we are being inspired to step into or express or embody ourselves. And it doesn't mean that we have to because it's not about faking it until you make it, but it's just kind of I think it's the same with people who might trigger us as well, someone on Instagram or whatever, where you're oh, that really annoys me. And it's what? Why does it annoy you so much? You could not like it, but why does it really annoy you so much? And then the opposite can happen in the deep, deep admiration of I couldn't possibly be that, you know? And I think the incredible teaching around the pedestal, someone who was not quite a mentor, but I would go to sessions with them every now and then. I was working with this thing of how do I step into what people are seeing me as, but then also the other side of it. And yeah, and she gave me this, we really, really did inquiry around it, that if you do put someone on a pedestal, in order for you to reach that height, you're going to have to knock them down. Mm-hmm. And why would you want to do that? You know? And you know, it's not a straightforward thing. You know, I think everyone at some stage like struggles with it a little bit. Some people a lot. And so I guess it's like, if we can have these I guess practices within us to be like, oh, I can see that I'm doing that. So what does that tell me about what's wanting to come through in me? And I think that, you know, you'll know this, like for me, for everything that I teach is that we have those answers within us. And yeah, sure, we can have people who are like guides or mirrors or, you know, like they've devoted their life to try and find, like, create the spaces for us to step into. But ultimately, we're hearing it from within. You know, no one can give us guidance really besides us. Well, good guidance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And yeah, I feel that's one of the things that you do so beautifully, to bring the people in your community back into this connection with our own truth. Mm-hmm. So, and yeah, what I've wanted to ask you also is, like, as I told you, I projected tons of things on you and had to take them back, and all this process. Oh my God! And I don't know if you feel the same, because I'm an outside. How do you say it? I watch what you do from the outside.
Yeah.
But I have the feeling that you are somebody people project a lot onto, or is it just me?
Who knows? I mean, you can't know what people project onto you, can you?
Yeah, but yeah, maybe that's just my own experience.
No, I think it happens to everyone. And then I think if for those of us who have a role in the world that is, like, you know, reaching people beyond just people that we know in our everyday life, like, I think it's unavoidable. Yeah.
So you seem to be quite good with boundaries. Would you say so?
I'm definitely better and better at them. Yeah, having my son made me really good at them. Like, particularly when I was pregnant, I just was like, yeah, it wasn't even a mental thing. It was just energetic. I was just like, no. But what I know about boundaries is that they create safe environments. So because people know where they stand. Now that doesn't mean that everyone's going to like it. But at least there's clarity there. And so, yeah, I think boundaries are healthy. But they're hard too, you know, like, and especially like if you're like, you are like someone who wants to have your heart open and keep it open, they're imperative, because particularly if you're giving and sharing and creating and all of that, like, yeah, if you're not clear on what your needs are and what your needs are in order to do the work that you're wanting to do, let's just say whether it's writing a book or creating an oracle deck or sending an email each week, whatever it is, the more you are out in the world, like, obviously the more that is requests that come in. And it's, if you were to say yes, like if I was to say yes to all of that, I would never create again. Like, I literally, like, there'd be no time. And so it's one of these things. I mean, it's the case in our normal life as well, right? But particularly with this odd kind of thing of having a business as well as being a healer or a creative or whatever, and like juggling the two. Like I remember when I was in my first few years of the work I do now, like I remember this one moment. I had always responded to every single comment on social media. I did, like, no matter what, every DM, every whatever. And then it, like, I literally, like I had written my book and it was coming out, and I was like, I was having a breakdown because I literally couldn't do it. I was up till 3 a.m. in the morning and not sleeping. And then I meant to be working on another book, and I'm like, it's literally not sustainable. Like, it's not sustainable. And so, yeah, that was one of my first, like, challenging establishing of boundaries, like, as in, like, okay, like I actually don't DM. And then my normal friend Facebook page, as opposed to my business one, I shut down my DMs on there as well. And it's so hard to, like, know that there's things in there, but if I go in there, I'll be spiraling for a day, you know. And then you just get one person saying something which actually has nothing to do with you. I mean, sometimes it does. And then, you know, I'm such a sensitive that, like, that'll knock me out for a month. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think it's just like, it's necessary. And not all people need, like, I have friends who are more, like someone I know who is more of like, he's more of like an influencer than a creative, although he does create, and he is in those DMs like constantly, but I just can't do it. I can't do it. So, yeah, but it's so tricky to establish them all. And, you know, same thing, if you get requests, like, you want to do it, but then you're like, am I going to spend my whole week doing interviews, or am I going to, you know, it's like, what are you really, really here for? And yeah, the boundaries are necessary for that to happen. But yeah, I wouldn't say they come easy to me, but I respect them, and I value, I know how important they are.
Yeah, I guess it's challenging for many of us. This bound, like, in the beginning, you've got no idea how to, and
oh my God, yeah.
And how many, like, podcast interview do you do in a year or so?
I don't know, like, for about 2 years, I'd been saying no completely to everything, just because, like, I'd become a new mum, and I had so many big projects that I was working on. I just didn't have the time. But I've just started doing them again. So yeah, it's just whatever. Sometimes, because I have a team now, and so it normally goes through my team. So some of them I don't even see. Okay. But then, like, if they know there's a personal connection, like with you, it'll come to me, and then I'll be like, yes. No, my team's better at boundaries than me. Yeah. They've been briefed.
Yeah, I think that's a huge advantage to have a team like I was just wondering how this feels to you, like, doing so many interviews. Like, is it something you still enjoy, or?
Yeah,
I think it must be a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hard question to answer. Yeah, I mean, it's great talking to interesting people, and I mean, I like it.
Okay. And like, you have kind of a big following on Insta now, I know. Have you realized, so we've talked boundaries, but, like, were there shifts in the energetic implications of everything? Like, did you feel it at certain stages in your field that you needed to do some more, I don't know, clearing or energetic, I don't know what, of this big reach of the many eyes that are looking at you? Did you feel
there's definitely an element of that. I think there's so much we don't understand about social media, regardless of, like, how many people are following us, whatever that really means. And yeah, like, I think that one thing that is important for me. And again, I'm not suggesting that everyone does it. It's just like a survival mechanism for me is I don't force myself to post. Like I know what to do to work the algorithm, you know, all of that stuff that all the marketing people say, and you know, you should post every day or this time or whatever. I don't do that. I do, which I really like, is I do a weekly email. And yeah, email is my favorite mode of communication, like from a business point of view, because I think it's a little bit more intimate. It's not so like scroll. Like obviously Instagram's beautiful and I love beauty and all of that, but yeah, I like the weekly newsletters. That's what lights me up the most. And so that is kind of like the drum beat. And then, yeah, as I'm inspired, I'll go onto Instagram and Facebook. And then obviously, like, it's like a great privilege to have those platforms as well, to be able to invite people to things like, you know, the membership or courses or whatever. And so, yeah, but for me, I need to like honor how I'm feeling rather than just forcing myself out there when I'm not feeling it. Yeah, like, you know, I think that we go through different inner seasons as well, particularly like as creatives. And I know that if I force myself to like be in this kind of like always on, in full bloom constantly, that like the new seeds won't come through. So like I've just been through probably, I'd say like about a 4-year period of like being quite off, as in like wanting to take a step back, but I can feel now that I'm ready to step forward again. And I think that, you know, when we look at things like if we were to believe in we have a calling, and I know that you resonate with that, it's not just our individual job to like do this one thing that is the calling, and the calling is eternally changing and evolving, of course. But like we come here, I see it like in teams, like and it's like, so like there's waves, and I grew up in Australia where there's like lots of surf, and I was a lifeguard, I surfed. And what you know when you surf is that there's always another wave, and the waves come in sets. And as you're paddling for the wave, you're trying to get it, and then you miss it. It's because it's not your wave. And so I think as creatives, we need to find a way to honor that. If you are an internal creative, which I definitely am, I know that there's creatives who are more producers, like they can just like produce, which is great, good for them. But I can't do it like that. My process is way more, I guess, feminine and a little bit wild. And anytime I've tried to force it, it just hasn't worked. So yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
You just mentioned calling, and that you originally are from Australia. That's also something I wanted to ask you about, because when people read your books, they can read about those calls that have called you to England and to your job, your vocation that you're doing now. Both of it, like the call of a land and a certain work. You answered both calls. Like, were there certain doubts and fears for both of those calls, and how did you handle those?
Well, when I look back, I kind of, you know, the dots join at the end, of course, and it's much easier to talk about it now in retrospect than at the time, because I had no idea what was happening at the time. But when I was 18, I had deep certainty that I was to come over here and travel. I didn't know why. Like, I honestly didn't know why. Even then, like, I now look back and I'm like, whoa, I literally just visited all these sacred sites of my ancestry, like even going like my ancestry is Nordic and Icelandic as well, like these places that I ended up, like there was no real it was just really going with the flow. And I look back, I'm like, Jesus, like, how did you do that? Like, you were so young and you had no idea what the heck you were doing. And I ended up in these like New Grange and Isle of Skye and a lot of graveyards with the stones and, you know, standing under yew trees. And I didn't understand it at the time, but I think that call was so there. And then like I went back to Australia. I did my uni degree, and then about a year after I came back, and I guess there was a inner call within there, but then there was also like, it made sense in other ways. Like, you know, like I'm young, like explore the world. I was very ambitious as a creative. I really wanted to be a creative director, like one of the, like, you know, I just wanted to be in the best environment so I could learn and grow. And I always knew that I had an affirmation in my early 20s of my creative ideas inspire people all around the world. Now, I was not thinking they were going to be books. I had a vision of that when I was quite young, but I was just like, nah, I don't understand. Like, what would I do? Like, and so I had thought it was going to be as a creative, like ideas that spread around the world. And so I had that ambition, but it made sense as well. Like London was one of the biggest cities in the world, and London, because I could get a visa, because, you know, it was the place that I could actually travel. That was, so, you know, it wasn't like this in one hand, it was very clear, but I didn't know what it was. And it wasn't until like almost, so it was 2010 really, 2010 to 2012 was when I was like, oh, geez, I need to release this in order to step into what is really here within me. And yeah, that took a good 2 years to like actually admit to myself that, like, yeah, like being in this constant battle between mind and soul. So yeah, and like, well, I live in Glastonbury now, and I know you've been here with me before. But again, the land of Glastonbury called me to it. I used to come here on personal retreat, like just myself, like for a weekend or whatever, and just felt so held by the land, and then began doing retreats myself, sacred pilgrimages. But yeah, with no plan to live here at all, no way. And yet I was definitely picked up and planted here. So, and at the same time, I had this yearning for land that felt like home. So yeah, I think I could say that, oh yeah, I always knew and but I didn't really.
Yeah.
And I did. Both are true.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, get that. When we're looking back, the path always looks so straight, but it never feels like this when we're walking it, right?
Well, that's the thing. And I think the thing I do believe is that there is this intelligence that is available to guide us at all times. Now, that intelligence may not tell us every single step along the way until you get to whatever it is, but it is there available to us at all times. And it may not be directing you at the speed you want to go at, but it is always there. Like there was a period for me before us ending up here. It was a couple of years where I got zero guidance. I was asking every single day. And yeah, one of my teachers said to me, when you are asking for guidance and, you know, you trust your guidance when it comes and you don't receive it, it means it's not yet time. And oh my gosh, that was I'm not a patient person. I don't like uncertainty. I want to know. I want to know. I've always been like that. And so, yeah, But it didn't mean that the thread wasn't there.
Yeah, you just couldn't see it yet.
Mm.
And how did you manage that?
The uncertainty.
And the impatience.
To be honest, I'd say like a little bit of an in-between, because I'm married, I have a husband, and so it was his life as well. And so it wasn't just me, you know, it wasn't like I could just go and sit in the cave and wait. And I knew he was frustrated with London, but then we just didn't know, should we go to Australia or da, 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 da. And I just kept on saying, I'm not getting anything. So I don't want to hold you up. So if you receive guidance here or you have a hunch, explore it and I'll come along, because I'm not getting anything. And we ended up, I mean, he wasn't really getting guidance. It was just, we were trying to figure it out. And so I would say I probably could have just waited, but I'm an action person, so I find that hard as well. And so if I look back, I'm like, we probably spent about 40 evenings viewing properties that we didn't need to in London. Wow. But it wasn't wasted time, you know. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think when you're not getting that guidance, and you know that whatever, you know, option A isn't, you know, that's not right. The challenge is to loosen your grip on option A and just wait. But then on the other hand, at the same time, when we're praying for guidance, and I think what stops a lot of people when they're receiving guidance is not acting. So
True.
It's a tender balance.
Yeah. It is.
But sometimes the energy can create something. But yeah. And then that's the scenario where only we know, you know, everyone can come up with their own thoughts around it. But yeah, ultimately we know. And then, yeah, for us, the morning I did wake up and I got guidance, it literally 24 hours later, we had a house in a completely different part of the country. I was actually getting on a plane on my way to Germany because that was literally the day after. And yeah, they said, we've got a house in Glastonbury. So that's how quickly it can happen when the timing is right. But who's to say that all of the hours spent questioning were wasted? Maybe they were necessary in order to know the big yes and then be moved when it comes in. Yeah, but I think this is a really, really important conversation around when it comes to, because I think often in the kind of creative and spiritual circles, we can get stuck here, like in the mind, but also in the spirit. Yeah. And it's not embodied. And so we'll go, oh, I've got an idea for this book, or I want to open a wellbeing center, or I want to, my soul's calling me to do this. But then we can't get to there because we're not taking the baby step. We're looking for the leap, but the leap is hundreds and thousands of baby steps we might be going faster and faster and faster. And then there's a point where there's a bigger step, but it's never a leap on its own.
Yeah. Totally.
I know you experienced that.
Yeah. Many baby steps. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You already mentioned your son. You have a little boy. One thing I learned from you and also from other teachers, but I know your work was somehow important for me there, is this concept of mothering yourself. And that was what I found out through working with your workshops and books and everything, that there was a lack of that for me, and learning to do that was such a healing experience and an empowering experience. And you, I guess you did all this work before you became a mom, because your son is still quite young. Would you say that impacted, like your self-mothering impacted now your role or how you mother your son?
Interesting. Of course. And I think that what happened, and maybe I don't want to say this in a binary way, like as in like it has to happen this way. What I've experienced, and I've read a lot of other people experience, is that an invitation when you're a parent is that you have this little baby, this little child. And like, as I was rocking him each night, it was like, whoa, like it's actually quite difficult to properly receive the amount of love that is beaming from this being. Like it's limitless, right? And I don't know, maybe everyone can see that, maybe not everyone. I don't know the answer to that. But I noticed what it brought up in me is like, oh my gosh, like we all come in like this. And I think we can only receive to the capacity that we were received. And then, of course, we can then receive ourselves in the ways that others maybe, yeah. And so I didn't expect that. I didn't expect to like see that. And I can't even really find the words for it, except that it's harder to receive it than it is to shut down from it. And I don't know if it is possible. I'm wondering, is it possible for an adult to fully receive a being like that? I'm not talking about my son. I'm talking about all babies, which is us as well. Like we come in so beaming. And then, you know, like life happens and our heart closes over and it needs to sometimes. But then how do we keep our heart open through the extremes? I think this is the greatest challenge of being human. And then the other thing that I've noticed as well is that as my son has grown, and he's not even 3 yet, but things from my own childhood, and now he's pre-3, so most of it has been pre-verbal stuff. Like, so it does not necessarily make sense. There's no story attached, but I can feel these parts of me that maybe felt unmet or something happened. And, you know, it doesn't have to be a huge thing for us to like close off a little bit. But I'm noticing, because I'm trying really hard to keep my heart open so I can receive him as fully as I am. And also I know that I'm not capable of receiving all of it, because I just don't know if it is possible for anyone. That first like baby bit. But noticing what comes up has been really, really interesting, and painful and beautiful and yeah, indescribable really. And it has like deepened this invitation of, you know, I've seen all through my house, you can probably see behind in my altar, there is a theme of mother and child. It always has been there. And I've known that because for me, I mean, I resonate with God and goddess, but obviously the goddess has been less received in our society for millennia. And so I err more to the great mother. And so that's what I had thought. But then, yeah, when I had my son and I would hold him in my arms and I felt like I was holding myself in my own arms and like I was him. And as I was rocking him, then the great mother was rocking me. Yeah, I had these really subtle but strong experiences. And so it really, it invited in me this kind of like inner child healing. And that feels like it doesn't even do it justice. But so like a practice that I've been doing the past year, which is such a beautiful practice that we can all do, is like before you go to sleep, take your little child, like you, whatever age shows up, maybe it's 3, maybe it's 12, maybe it's 6 months old, doesn't matter. And you take them into your arms as you go to sleep. And yeah, it's so beautiful. And yeah, like we've all, like, to be human is to experience trauma. Trauma is when we are unwitnessed in our pain. We've all experienced that. It's impossible to be alive and not experience that, you know? And yeah, I think one of the most powerful things we can do is take ourselves into our own arms. So we're not having to like look and feel disappointed or unmet or unwitnessed or whatever. But yeah, it's big work.
Yeah, really. Actually, yeah, you touched something in me, and I had to think of my niece when you were talking about your
Right.
son, and yeah, this. I think we started with this, or I started with it, like this need to be seen, and I think it's beautiful if we're seen, and it's necessary, and we are social beings to be seen by others, but this seeing yourself also like in your innocence, or however you want to call it, in this pure light, if we can give this to ourselves even in like little pieces, because I think
Right.
we can't do it all the time. That is such a gift we can give ourselves. And as you said, it's work also to learn that.
Yeah. And so, yeah, like if you, and I think an interesting exercise as well is like if you're feeling unseen or unmet, or just having difficulty with a relationship, you know, communication. Like I was talking to my husband before, and we're just like not vibing. Like we're just kind of like butting up against each other. And as often happens in those most important relationships in our lives, it's like, you know, there's something in you as a child and something in them as a child, and you're just going boom, 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 like that. And so an invitation as well, and this, you don't have to do this all the time, but like if you are struggling in that situation, like, okay, how old do I feel, and what is this unmet need in me, like what's happening, and then seeing them in that same way as well. So it's like, oh, I'm actually arguing with a 7-year-old here, and I'm 3. Of course I'm frustrated because I can't possibly win an argument with a 7-year-old. And then the 7-year-old will be like, and why can't this person express themselves better, you know? So if we can kind of see the other in their innocence as well, it helps, and it's challenging to do, you know. We're all learning, we're all in it together.
Yeah, totally. But this is such a good thing, what you just mentioned, seeing the child in the other one, to like get the like really aggression out of an argument. My friend Joanna, she does it so beautifully. Like she's my closest friend, and that's the only one I can do it like this with, because you have to have some mind consciousness to be able. But she does it so beautifully. When we get like this, she somehow manages to see our inner children, and that just dissolves this whole conflict.
Oh, that's
like,
really nice.
That's so beautiful. You can like talk on a different level when you understand who's talking.
Exactly. And then, you know, some of us might be in relationships where we can't actually have that conversation, but you can in your head and be like, I think they're about 11 right now.
Yeah.
How should I talk to an 11-year-old? But then you're not going to be able to as a 5-year-old. So
yeah, that's so beautiful. Let me see, what do I have here? Oh, I learned to breathe deeply with you also. So another thing that I learned from you, or with you, is the importance of resting. And yeah, I think you already mentioned, like in your first career, you were working a lot from your masculine and a lot of doing. And how was that journey for you? I guess you had to learn resting too, right?
Yeah, totally. So I think, you know, when you begin to explore the feminine, you realize, oh my gosh, we've got society completely wrong, in the sense of like we're trying to be in full bloom all year round rather than actually respect the seasons. But then, you know, running your own business, having your own business is like, it's really like, on one hand, you've got extreme freedom. Like you're not having to do what someone else says all the time. But then it's a lot of responsibility at the same time. And so, yeah, it's a continual juggle for sure. But I think when you understand the wisdom of nature, that there's a reason why there's seasons, there's a reason why there's night and day. It's a good reminder.
Yeah. And yeah, but did it take you long to learn this for yourself?
Oh, I'm continually learning it.
Okay, great, good to hear. And I heard you mention in another podcast the Pluto square Pluto transit, which I'm just like on the beginning phase. And yeah, you're just a little older than I am, so you're a bit more ahead. Like, would you share some of your experiences with
Oh my God. Yeah, sure. So I'm not an astrologer, so I'm not teaching from that perspective. But there's something called Pluto square Pluto transit, or Pluto transit. And I think it happens, it's not exact clockwork, but for people around my age group, it's around 36 to 41, I think. Yes. But it depends. Like, so yours might be shorter, mine might be longer. I'm not sure. But yeah, and mine also had like a lot of Neptune in it. There was just like, I remember astrologers, because I would normally do like an astrology reading once a year. And for about 5 years, astrologers were like, oh shit, like this is not gonna be easy for you. And I was like, what, you know, and like trying not to think about it. But then when I was in it, I was like, oh my God, yeah. I mean, I can only express what it was for me. But then I don't know how much is that and how much is pandemic, how much is becoming a mother. Like, yeah, like what I know is that my soul does things deep. And so having those things on top of it all, oh God. Yeah, it was just very internal. It was very, very deep into the underground, into the void space. But as I'm coming out now, and I'm not fully out, but I'm coming out for sure. Forever changed, like so forever changed. And like I feel like the body of my work that's about to come in, which again, all the little threads have been leading here. So it's not like, oh, now I've had this realization. It's all been threading its way. Wouldn't change it.
Yeah, wow. But what I love about it is, because that's something I didn't realize a couple of years ago, that we can have those voidy phases and still like have a successful business and do our work.
Right.
And we don't have to be perfect and self-optimizing and all the way healed, which I feel is impossible. But
like completely impossible.
Yeah.
Like we're ever changing. It's impossible to be whole constantly if you look at whole as like the bloom, you know, it's just not possible.
Yeah.
And also like it's very, very rare that all parts of your life are incredible all at once. It happens in waves, in seasons. So yeah.
Yeah. I think it's always beautiful to hear from, or like motivating from to hear from other people that they also don't have it all figured out and they are going through their
No one
processes.
does.
Yeah. So, yeah, wow, that was a beautiful talk. Rebecca, you said you were fine with doing a little one card reading.
Yeah, sure.
So for everybody.
If everyone just like thinks of maybe there's an area of your life that you'd like to devote this card to, or a question, and I'm going to actually I'm going to use both of these cards. So I'm going to do a 2-card reading here.
Yay.
So interesting. Yeah, it's very, very aligned to what we were saying. So I'm not sure if everyone's going to be able to see, but the cards I've got here are the bud and then the thorn. And so the bud is about potential, promise. It's about to happen. Keep going. So it's really like, if you imagine, it is this time of year that I'm in right now, and you are as well, where the buds are just bursting to come out, you know? And so, yeah, it's that really spring energy. So it reflects like ideas, new beginnings, potential. And so this is in the position of what's the soul yearning for? Mm-hmm. And then this one here, which is the thorn, is the baby step. Like, what can we do right now to help this happen? And interestingly, the thorn is about protection, boundaries, and clear communication. So it makes perfect sense if we look, this is from the Rose Oracle. So if you think about the rose itself, everyone tends to think of the rose as, well, you know, love, of course, but that it's just like, it's all about the bloom. It's all about like the energy of the rose is just like, oh, it's lovely and sweet and all of that. The rose has thorns. Most roses do, not all, but the majority do. And those thorns are so necessary. They protect the bloom. They protect the bud, you know? And so, you know, we definitely started the beginning of the conversation with this, the necessity for the clarity of boundaries, of clear communication, of like being self-responsible, like responsible for your own needs rather than waiting for someone else to kind of guess them or meet them, in order for what is budding within you to one day bud and bloom. So yeah, so that's the 2-card reading that came through here.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for your time, Rebecca. I'm just checking my notes, but we covered everything.
Wonderful. Well, it was so nice to see you again, Suzanne.
Yeah.
And thank you, everyone, for listening.
Yeah, thank you. I don't have any. I'm just like, what can I say? No. That's perfect. That's perfect. Okay.
That's it. We did it.
We did it. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
My pleasure.
Bye.
Bye, honey.